Evil Apple One here, guys, and today we got some very exciting news to talk about, and that is the enhancements of 3 absolutely gorgeous women gaining their next level of power. Oh, can't wait to talk about them. Now, keep in mind, we don't have the full information. Mostly that's Elfin and Esther, but Sylvie, we have pretty much a good idea how she's turning out. So what do you say we dive in and talk about them, but we're not going to go through the entire thing. I kind of want to only talk about some of the highlights and some things they're turning into, because I will do a other video where I go full depth talking about the numbers and where they're going to be and all those things. So it's just a little hype we're going to be talking about. So let's talk about Elfin, who is finally getting her enhancement. This is a unit a lot of us are talking about and looking very much forward to coming here to the global side. Now, she's not going to have that same impact that she had on JP when she got her enhancements. To give a little idea how much of an impact we're talking about, on JP's side, she was basically bottom tier unit, and after the enhancements, she hit the 3rd highest ranking unit. That is one hell of a difference for a support unit, going from the bottom to the 3rd highest rating unit at that time. And here on the global side, she's not going to have that same effect at all, because there are so many other support units that are either matching her or outclassing her completely. So that was one of the things we were a little excited and hoping for, that she was going to get some enhancement, but it's also because she's got a little bit delayed and other units been released a lot sooner. Ignis, for example, was released a lot sooner here on global side compared to JP. It's kind of like the roles are reversed, because on JP, Ignis was released a lot later compared to Elfin, and here, Ignis came a lot sooner before Elfin. So she came a little later, so we do want to see some buff coming to her so she has a chance of shining a little bit more. And that's exactly what's going to be happening. They are going to give her some global upgrades. Now, one of the interesting things that we're talking about in the video was that they were going to be having her to build up her limb burst a lot quicker, and we can also see that her limb burst is going to have a change of effect. Now, her original limb burst is 145% buff on all stats, breaks with 75%, and gives you 20% HP and MP back instantly. Not bad. It was fine back then. Honestly, the 75% break was freakishly good, but there was not much else you can utilize her kit for. But even though you then give her enhancement, that means now her limb burst is very lackluster, so it's going to be upgraded. Now, the most safest one to bet on is that it's going to be buffed up to 200% all stats, breaks 80%, I will push it for, and the HP and MP recovery instant could maybe be something like a 30%, 40, maximum 50. I don't think it's going to be higher than that. Could happen, that instant cast. So there's ways that limb burst suddenly could become better. It will not change her unless suddenly means she can beat out Sylvie or Emperor Fu or units like that. No, she's not as versatile as them, but there are other ways they could do. They could say the limb burst buffs with 200%, breaks with 75%, and then it has elemental resistance with 80%. Could be. Or they could add a damage mitigation with 50%. Could be. Anything, options they could play around there that could make her a little more versatile would not be bad. But even so, with the enhancement she's getting, she's still going to be break with 75%, still buffing with 200%, and has HP and MP recovery, and now we're going to be building up her limb burst a lot faster as well. Now, I am still expecting, when we're looking at this information, they are still going to be reapplied. It's a little nervous that it doesn't say anything about here, because one of the most unique things about her buffs is that when you lay down the buff, it will then reapply the next turn. So say, for example, if the enemy dispels you, the start of your next turn, boom, you have reapplied the buff. And the same thing goes with the breaks. They are reapplied. So I'm hoping that's still going to be the same. It's a little weird that it doesn't say anything about that here, but again, Gumi most of the time do not put all the information here for us to really dive in and get an idea if this unit's going to be good or not. They don't do that. So hopefully, and I'm still expecting it's going to be the same, or else they have removed that and then buffed the limb burst absolutely insane. But I'm expecting it's going to be the same, and limb burst is going to be an okay buff. But I am very much excited because I'm very curious to see what she's going to become. And we will talk a little more in depth what the things are and what is happening to her when we know the limb burst. Esther is honestly one of the more favorite people's units, the bunny girl. And honestly, there's a good reason for it. She's extremely bulky, very easy to utilize, and she hits pretty hard. But like any other damage dealer, with time, they go crashing down to the ground and become absolute easily outmatched by many other damage dealers. That's just how typical it is with damage dealers. They have such a short lifespan. Now, thus far, Esther could maybe have a bit of a longer lifespan because they are getting their enhancements, but not their latent abilities. So hopefully there will be some latent abilities for next year where Esther can then get some more power and then stay for the meta a little while longer and get a resurgence eventually down the line. That is what I'm expecting is going to be happening to her. Now, with any other damage dealers, it's more power, and since she's limited to one element, it's going to be a 120% elemental debuff. The things that stands out with her enhancements is, of course, just how more bulkier she becomes. And also how easy it is going to be to build up in Limit Burst. But she is going to get Blind, Confusion, and Disease Resistance. She already has Paralyze and Petrify, Stop and Charm Resistance. And she's already a unit who's quite bulky. You could build her pretty easily up to hit about 14,000 HP very easily. And if you got some good gear, maybe even 15 and a bit more. And still having a great amount of power. And they also increase her defense and spirit. And especially the spirit side, she's getting a nice boost there. Large sword with another defensive spear with 20%. Increased limit burst. And she get another 50% true double hand. So she's going to have 200% true double hand. So that means it's going to be easier to max it out and more room for killers. And things that increase her limit burst damage. She's just getting a lot of good stuff there that's going to make her significantly better. But again, we don't know what the numbers are going to be on the limit burst side. Other thing that stands out to me is her cooldown ability where she can buff herself up is going to be a 250% that cannot be dispelled. That is a big deal for 5 turns because most of the time we are starting to only use defensive spirit buffers. It's rare we need someone to buff their attack magic because most of the time we cannot match the power some damage dealers can boost themselves up with. So having a damage dealer who can buff himself up, or herself up for that matter, that cannot be dispelled is a big plus. There are many fights that you come across where they do AoE dispels and then you're reapplying. But when your damage dealer doesn't lose that, your fault, you destroyed my powers. Well, now I'll surprise you now. Anyway, as you can hear, I'm a little excited about it. That's a nice buff coming to Esther where she's going to shine even better than before. I love it. Besides that, again, building up limit burst a lot faster, some damage modify, yada yada yada, all those good things. But we'll take a closer look at her when we have the full numbers, what she's going to turn out to. For me, I'm expecting her to hit around top 5 bottom side. Close, I'm expecting her close to match the FMAs, but not by a huge margin, a few billions from it. But I'm expecting her to be up there, and I'm also expecting her in the Super TMR build-wise, she's going to be significantly stronger because she's going to have more room for some limit burst gear than she would naturally. But again, it depends on the numbers, and we'll see about it. That's what I think, hope, when we'll see what's going to be happening to Esther. She's definitely going to have her time to shine a bit. And of course, the unit we need to dive into is Sylvie. And we got the old information here. There's nothing here where we go, oh, what can we expect from her? The numbers are here. We know exactly what she's going to become. Sorry, I'm a little bit excited about Sylvie. Sylvie is a unit I've been using for a long time. From day one to this very day, I still use her. In my opinion, Sylvie has only fallen slightly. Like it's not really go... Not at all. She's always been there. And in my opinion, she still holds up with some of the best supporters, especially if you pair up with Myra. Myra and Sylvie is an incredible combo because Myra covers a lot of Sylvie's weaknesses. But after the enhancements, I wouldn't say Sylvie has many weaknesses anymore. The only weakness I see Sylvie still has is reliably firing off that limit burst. That's really it. Everything else, Sylvie can do it pretty much on her own now, which is incredible. So, a lot of the buff she's getting here is exactly what I wanted her to get. So she's got all the things I really wanted, plus a little extra, more than I expected. So, let's take a look at her breaks. As you remember, she did have some breaking capabilities, but her best breaks were on her cooldown. Well, she now have her on-demand breaks and attack and magic with 65%. 65 is good. It's basic. It's reliable. It's good enough. More than enough. But I would, of course, like to see it at 70% and see her cooldowns getting a little bit more. But again, I never felt like that Sylvie was meant to be as a dedicated breaker. I've always seen her more as an emergency breaker or a startup breaker so someone else can take over. That's generally how I've seen her, but now she can be even more reliable if you want to utilize her as a breaker, which you easily can do. Great stuff there. And of course, it's for 4 turns, more expensive as well. Same thing goes with the defense and spirit break, goes up to 65, 4 turns as well. So now comes to the buffing capability that's honestly has been one of her biggest weaknesses, since it only been 128% has been reliable, and then 170% has been the little, oh yay, 5 turns, yay, and then you have to wait 11 turns before you can use it again. Boo. But now it becomes a lot more reliable. Attack and magic up to 160% that cannot be dispelled, which is a big deal. When you start to compare Sylvie with a lot of other supporters we have at the moment, we got Emperor Fu, we got Ignis, we got Chin, and Chin is very unique because his buffs cannot be dispelled. When I'm looking at what they're doing with Sylvie's enhancements, sorry, there's a cat right here and he's looking damn fluffy. Don't worry, you'll see him later. I feel like they've been looking at Ignis and just saying, let's make her match very well with him and even outshine him in certain areas. And that is where it includes not being able to be dispelling her buffs to defensive spirit and attack and magic, which is very nice. And they are lasting now for 4 turns, and they can also boost up to attack and magic to all allies after 2 turns, becomes 180%. Not bad. Started out at 160, becomes 180%. Not bad. And then also gives a limb burst fill rate to the entire team like it normally does. So the defensive spirit, exactly the same, starts with 160, cannot be dispelled, goes up after 2 turns to 180%, cannot be dispelled, and of course we also get a HP barrier of 1000, and of course becomes more pricier. But here comes one of the more surprise buffs. She can heal now. Yeah, of course. There's been many times I've been in a fight where I was thinking, I wish my Sylvie could actually heal, because then I didn't need a healer onto my team. Never thought of that, but again, I feel like they've been looking at Ignis and saying Ignis can heal, Sylvie should also be able to heal. And what I love about it, it's they kind of like put it in an area I did not expect. It was in her physical and magical damage mitigation. I was expecting a cooldown ability, but no. So that means the physical damage mitigation goes up to 30% now for 4 turns. Great, that's exactly what I wanted with her. I am so much happy about that. And it heals now with 5,000. Of course, becomes more expensive. But the magic damage mitigation does exactly the same. Magic damage mitigation, 4 turns, and heals with 5,000. And the physical magical damage mitigation is something you regularly just cast around, so you're doing a little support healing of just, 10,000. That's nothing, right? It's great. So I'm very happy to see this. It's a nice little quality of life to Sylvie. She now can do some support healing if you need to. 10,000? Not bad at all. And then we have Hop into Battle. Now, Hop into Battle are the break moves, where she buffing a single target. So it breaks with 70%. Sadly, I was hoping the break number will go a little higher, or even last longer, but that doesn't seem to be happening here. But instead, the boosting will be higher. To attack and magic now to 300%. Now that can be really good for finisher types that cannot buff themselves up, like Sid for example. But also keep in mind it is still undispellable. Good stuff there, I like it. And we also gotta get triple cast now for 3 turns. The triple cast is a big deal we have for a lot longer now, because the triple cast allows us to utilize her entire kit. And if you do remember, she has 3 different elements she can give to units, and she has 2 moves where she can make anyone into chainers. How often have you used that? Not that often, because it's such a clunky way to unlock it. It's never been natural to do it. But now it becomes so much more easier to utilize some of these more niche capabilities, where you can start to build some more fascinating teams. So I love that triple cast update for it. And we're also going to reduce the cooldown down to 5 turns. I was kind of hoping it was go down to 3 turns, so you kind of like could keep up with the 70% breaks as long as the cooldown could run down so you could use it again. But sadly, that was not the case here. Sad, but it's fine. It's fine. And the same thing goes with defense and spirit, 300% undispellable. While we're still breaking with 70% for defense and spirit. No, for attack and magic. And it still gives triple cast for 3 turns, and a cooldown for 5 turns. And then of course we have the main boosting ability that was 170%. It gives break resistance with 100% for 5 turns as well. Becomes a 200%, cannot be dispelled. Nice. And interesting enough, the triple cast here is a 5 turns, not a 3 turns, a 5 turns lasting. Well, that's good stuff. So very nice little upgrade here, and it has now only a 9 turns cooldown, so 2 turns less. Nice enough. It helps a little bit, of course. And of course, there's always been times where I think Sylvie was not tanky enough. Let's make her more tanky. Let's give her more defense and spear with 30%, more HP and MP 50%, baby. Oh, I'm also give her some element resistance on top of it. Oh, Jesus. Oh, this girl's gonna be beautiful. And Limber Burst fill with 150% and triple cast at the start of a fight or when you're revived. Yeah, overall Sylvie is absolutely gorgeous. She has gotten a nice pump in life and really matching basically with all the other buffers there is. Would I say she outright beats them? She still have that one weakness where she doesn't build up her Limb Burst reliably. Still needs some other source to build up, and that Limb Burst contains her elemental resistance, HP barriers, and the reliable instant MP recovery. So I would still say she's up there. Maybe slightly, she outshines them just slightly, but that's mostly because her versatility is opened up because of the triple cast. You have so much more room to utilize her entire kit now than ever before. So I think that is really what pushes her up there, and her breaks are reliable enough, they're good enough, so she can match a lot of the other breakers. Of course, she's not beating out Recore or Kryla for that matter. They're still incredible units when it comes to their breaking capabilities, but I really do like what they have done with her. She's definitely up there, and it's a unit that you can easily see yourself using for another year or two. Honestly, she's still that good. I could see that as a possibility. And still synergizes so well with Myra. But Myra no longer covers a lot of her weaknesses anymore. They more so like Sylvie covering Myra's weaknesses now. It's like, oh, the tables have turned, I see. But I am quite happy with Sylvie's enhancements. They look great, and also keep in mind there's still latent abilities down the line that could add something else towards her. Unless Gumi surprises us once again and say, enhancements and latent abilities here! Go get them, boys! And girls, of course, but I don't think so. I think they're saving them for next year, so there can be some other surprises coming down the line where Sylvie, again, can stay in the meta for a while. So, overall, I am very happy with Sylvie. That's for certain. So, of course, as I promised, I would have little Sicko here. Little, well, he's not little, he's a pretty big cat. Pretty big cat, yeah. But I would like to hear your comments below what of these units you are looking very much forward to. I know we don't have all the data at the moment, but if we were to talk about hype, I am a little more hyped for Elfin because I don't know what is happening to her Limb Burst, and it can make a big difference when it comes to her. Well, big and big. It will make a difference and maybe a small impact for the support category for her. So I'm curious to see that. Esther when it comes to the power, but I will say Elephim first, Sylvie second, and Esther, of course, on the third place. But I think, honestly, this is some of the best enhancement batch we've had thus far, where all 3 units look so damn promising, and I think most people are looking forward to one of these units in one way or another. And I hope we are not going to be disappointed. It looks promising thus far, so let's hope for that. So, right, he looks very sleepy. A little sleepy fluffball. But yeah, guys, please comment below and tell me who you're looking forward to. And do, please, remember to please like and subscribe for the channel so we can laugh together in the darkness.